Right, we're going to start on part 5-2, and how I'm going to approach the part is I will first create the base. Then I will create this extrusion. It says hint use extrusion, and I will draw out this whole entire profile. Okay, once I've created this entire profile, I will then work on doing an offset plane, creating the little circular disc at the top. Then the whole feature. Finally, the ribs and the little boss at the corner with the little hole. Okay. This video here, I'm going to do something slightly different and something different. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk through my process so that those who would like to try or would have like to have an overview, a big picture of how it's being approached, I'll show it here. So first, I'll start off with a boss extrude of the general dimensions, uh, 40 millimeters by 30 millimeters. Then I'll create the fillets. Then I'll create the boss extrude of this profile. Okay, the boss extrude of this profile, what I do is that I create the overall outline sketch. Okay, then I create the top feature of the boss. I do an offset plane from the bottom to a distance of 62. Then next is I create this top feature here, followed by the hole cutout in the center. Okay, then I do the ribs. I do one side of the rib and I use the mirror command to create the other half. Next, I create a base boss. Okay, I extrude boss, and finally I do an extrude cut with a hole. So that's the general process in which I approach to do this question. Okay, now the next part of the video, I'm going to do it step by step so that you can see how it's being done. Okay, for those of you who feel like trying it out yourselves, you can pause the video here, right? And as I create my features, you could carry on the play. Okay, so I'll start off drawing the top plane, and this time around I'll draw a rectangle, pretty much similar from the plan view, and I'll do my alignment. Okay, so I will align this dot and this center. Okay, and it will be horizontal. Accept it. Then I will select this dot, control button, and this dot, and then I'll select the vertical, right? Then the dimension here is 30 millimeters, and the dimension here would be 40 millimeters. Okay, once this is done, I will extrude base, and the base distance, extrude distance is 4.5 millimeters. Okay, after the base extrusion, I will do a fillet radius, and the fillet radius R8, and I'll select these corners. Okay, next I'll go to the sketch and I'll select the front plane, and I'll start off drawing the profile of the extrusion. I intentionally offset my circle. I intentionally drew it offset so that I could show you how I align the circle vertically. Control, alright, and do this. Okay, this is an extra step for beginners actually, because if you can also do it this way, right? You can also do it this way. You can draw a circle, then you put your mouse somewhere to the origin point, and then you drag all the way up, and you see the dotted line, and that would align the center of the circle vertically to the origin point. Okay, the diameter is 18 millimeters. Is it 18? Yes, it's 18 millimeters. And then the dimension to the bottom of the base, oh, I didn't click it, to the bottom of the base is 52 millimeters. Okay, right. Now If you realize the blue circle is not constrained, and that is because even though I did a tracking, right, it is at the center, but it is they didn't assign the vertical constraint to it. So you may still need to go back to this as a control button and assign it as vertical. And it is only then it becomes fully constrained. Okay, so this is one aspect of it. Now I'm going to draw the lines, the sides of the wall profile. And if you snap to the quadrant, right, the quadrant, then this is wrong because this is not tangent to the circle. So you need to be careful about that. This is not correct. The tangent point is somewhere up above here. Okay. So how do you snap to the tangent point? You actually need to go to your quick snaps and you select this option, tangent snap, and they will automatically uh, adjust and let you snap to the correct location. Okay. Next, you draw the next line, and same thing. Go over here, tangent snap, and I snap to this point. Okay. And the next line will be the bottom base, so I close the whole entire loop. Now once this is done, I'll trim away the entities, and I trim the entity closest to me, and this is my profile. Okay, this is my profile. Once this profile is done, I can extrude base, and I select this contour to extrude. Only thin features are permitted if contours are open. Some of my contours are open, so I need to check. Okay, some of my contours are open. Okay, so when I drew a line, when I snap to it, it's tangent to the circle, but there is a little tail over here, so I need to be careful about it. So I need to go back to my sketch and my trim entities, and I need to trim this away. Okay, right, so sometimes that happens, so you need to make sure that your loop is closed before you can extrude boss. And this time around, I will extrude by mid-plane. And the width of the extrusion is 4.5 millimeters, so I'll click that to accept it. Next, I'll do my sketch plane, and I will sketch it on the front plane, drawing the circle. And I'll move my mouse over to this, and I move my mouse over to the orange, the circumference, and there is a little black cross with a circle that appears, and that's the center of the circle. Okay, so I'll snap to it, and then I will apply a dimension to it, and the dimension should be 18 millimeters as well. Okay, and then I will extrude boss on both sides, mid plane, and the mid plane distance for this is 15 millimeters. Okay, so I select 15. I could draw from the right plane, right? Or I could select one of the surfaces on this boss here, and I could do that same thing, applying a dimension of 14. Okay, and what I'll do is I'll extrude cut the whole entire feature. Alright, so this is what I have earlier on. Okay, now next what I could do is I would want to create the small little disc that's at the top. And the way I'll do it is I'll create a reference plane, and it's referenced from the bottom plane. Okay, and then what happens is it didn't show me the preview of the work plane, so let me try again. Okay, I'll create a reference plane, and I like to have this reference plane, and I need to flip the offset. Okay, flip the offset, and the total distance is 62, so the distance is written here already, 62, so I accept it. Okay, then what I do is I create a sketch on display. Alright, wrong side. And I draw the diameter of the circle. Okay, the diameter of the circle is this. Then I will select this to be diameter 10 as per the drawing, right? Where did I get this? It's actually here, diameter 10, right? Sometimes they'll show it in the plan view, sometimes they'll show it in the front view. Okay, right. So that's where I got my diameter 10, and then I extrude it. And this time around, I have to be careful about my extrusion, because if I were to just very quickly put extrude boss, I would have a feature that comes all the way through the hole, and this is not what I want. Alright, so I have to edit feature, and then I have to define the end conditions correctly. It wouldn't be true all, it would be up to next. Okay, if you don't want to put up to next, I could do it up to surface. I could check this surface. Okay, and this is it, and either way would have worked. Okay, so I extrude the top feature. Now what I do is I hide the work plane so that it doesn't get in the way. The next thing I'm going to do is create the rib. So I'm going to create a sketch, and this time around I will sketch on the right plane. Okay, I'll draw a line, and the rib starts from this line. And what I do is that I draw a vertical line, and the distance, whoops, and the distance from this line to the center is 7 millimeters. Okay, the next thing I'll draw is a circle, and the radius is 15, so the diameter is 30. So I'll just put here 30 millimeters. Then what happens is that there's this little peculiarity that I need to do. It's not very conventional, but I need to create an entity or draw a line that is aligned to the edge here, simply because I need to make use of this orange dot or orange point so that the circle can be coincident to that. Okay, and I need this point and this line as well so that I can trim my circle, my radius. Right, so what I do next is I select the circle, press Ctrl, select the line, and then I constrain it as a tangent. Next, I select the circle, press Ctrl, and I select this point. Okay, and I'll say, okay, wait, it didn't turn out quite well. Let me try again. The edge of the circle, press Ctrl, and this point here, and I'll press coincident. Okay, means they are touching each other. Okay, now once this is fully constrained, I can trim my arc. I can trim the inner side of this of the line. Okay, I have this extra bit of line here. I can choose to delete it, but however, if you delete it, you will have problems creating the rib, because they are not able to process the endpoints over here. So what I do is I extended the line, right? So going to the features, you choose the rib command, right? The rib thickness is 4.5 millimeters, right? 4.5 millimeters. The material is being extruded into the inside of the part here, and that's correct. That's what I want. Then I choose the green tick, and I get my rib. Once the rib is done, you need not repeat the whole process. You can if you want to, but it's not necessary. All you need to do is use the mirror command, select the mirror plane, okay, which would be the front plane, and the features that you want to mirror will be the rib, and then I click OK, right? So I have these main features. The last feature to draw is the little boss with the hole. I can select this, go over to my right plane, okay, and sketch. I got it wrong. Should be front plane. Create sketch. go over to my front plane to sketch and then draw my circle. Okay, I'll add the dimensions to the circle. To the bottom edge, this dimension should be 22. From the center to the center point, this should be 7 millimeters. The radius of the circle should be 8 millimeters. Okay, then what I do is I extrude both sides, extrude by mid plane, and this time around the extrusion thickness, um, for this particular boss, you need to scrutinize the drawing and you will be able to find that this feature here is also reflected in the plan view, right? And there is a dimension of its width given would be 14 millimeters. So I'm going back here and I'm going to choose 14, right? And accept it. Next, I'm creating a sketch on that same front plane. And what I do is I can draw a circle. Okay, zoom in, move my mouse over, then I select the center and I add in the diameter of this, and the diameter of this is diameter 5. Okay, now once this is done, I do an extrude cut on both sides. Okay, through all on both sides, and I should be able to create my slot. So this is how I create part 5-2 in a step-by-step manner. The interesting thing to note for this question as compared to the rest, I made use of from the sketch icons, I made use of the quick snap to draw the tangent. Alright. The other alternatives that you could use is you could, for example, let me give an example sketch on a front plane. Let's say, for example, if you don't want to use the object snap, you could actually just draw a circle. Then what you could do is you could draw a line that is really long and exceeding, and then you could select these two, the line and the circle, and you say that you want them to be tangent. Okay, that can be done as well, followed by trimming away the extensions. Okay, the extension that you do not need. And that's how you create a line that is tangent to the circle. This is a very critical skill that you ought to know, ought to learn, and ought to practice. Till then, see you again and have a good day ahead.